All right. Hey, everybody. It's Kelly Williams with The Kelly Williams Show and Your Home TV. And it's time for The Kelly Williams Show. Yay! All right. I am so excited. We've got royalty, ladies and gentlemen, right here on The Kelly Williams Show. Thrilled to find out this amazing young lady's story and all about her journey that she's got coming up. It's Sadie Schiermeyer. She is Miss Texas America 2025. Hi, Sadie.
Hello. I'm so
I'm,
excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Well, we're going to talk to you and let everybody find out all about you and your amazing story when we come right back. All right, we're back. Yay!
Yay.
Okay, everybody. So if you've noticed, there's this gorgeous young lady with a crown on her head and a major sash happening. So this is the 2025 Miss Texas America, Sadie Schiermeyer. Good morning, Sadie.
Good morning.
So exciting. So I asked you earlier, but how does it feel every time you get to put that crown on your head?
It is absolutely surreal. So we'll probably get more into this throughout the show, but my mom is actually Miss Texas in the 90s. And one of my favorite stories that gets told about me, because I was a sassy child, but one of my favorite stories is one year backstage at the show, I was with my mom and, if somebody just saw a child wandering around, they had no reason to know that my mom was Miss Texas.
Yeah.
And the current Miss Texas at the time offered for me to put on the crown to try it on. And I said, that's okay. My mom has one. And she had no idea. Yeah, she was just like, okay, sure. And so I think about that story quite often because it feels so sweet and full circle. And I wish that I could tell childhood Sadie, hey, you're going to have your own one day. So it's a dream come true.
I love it. I love it. And we are definitely going to talk more about that in the show as we go, because that's so exciting. But first of all, where are you from?
So I call Frisco, Texas home. I actually was born in El Paso and I've moved kind of all over. So I claim most of the state, but Frisco is home.
I love it. You are a true Texas girl. That is for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So Sadie, was this Miss Texas pageant the first one you competed in, or have you competed before?
No, I've actually been competing for a few years. I competed first in the teen division. I only competed once at state. So competed at local competitions, went on, got first runner up at state as a teen. But then the second year when I was supposed to go back and compete is when COVID hit. So my life took a really big turn. I ended up going and doing a gap year program in Missouri, and then I went to school in Tennessee. And so all of things just caused me to take a step back from pageants for a moment. And then last year came back, competed as Miss Plano, and then came back and competed as Miss Richardson. And that was when I won.
Amazing. So did you place when you were Miss Plano?
Yes, I got third runner up.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Come back and win, and you know, it's a tricky situation when you place top 5.
Absolutely.
And then come back. Come back to win is a very big deal.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, top 5 is such an interesting, first of all, it's such an honor, especially Texas is such a competitive state and you are surrounded by the most amazing girls. And so even if you don't walk away with the crown, there are so many ways to still walk away a winner. And so, there's a lot of things riding on, I was first runner up as a teen, top 5 last year, and navigating even the mental component of that. And how do I even think about competing? What is the healthiest way for me to compete, knowing that there is a spotlight? But the bottom line being, hey, this is something that I really enjoy and I really believe in. And whether I win or not, this is worth doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So you just talked about this, but what year your mother was crowned Miss Texas America? In what year? 1994?
94. Yes, ma'am.
So first of all, growing up with a mom that won Miss Texas, Um, that's a big deal when you start getting ready to compete. Did you
Absolutely.
do you remember when you decided you were going to
Mhm.
do this and be serious about it? And was there pressure on you, on yourself, to win Texas?
That's a great question, and I actually wanna take a step back and talk about the when did I decide to compete? Like, what was that first kind of push to do so? And what's funny is it wasn't my mom. You
Yeah.
know, she was the one that introduced me to pageantry and the Miss Texas organization, and she's the one that showed me how cool it was and all the opportunities available. But what actually convinced me to compete was one of my best friends in high school. She went on to win Miss America's teen. So I saw her all the way from the local level to winning the national level. And I
Wow.
think the most pivotal piece was seeing the sort of advocacy that she got to do and seeing that as a teenager, she had a platform to use her voice. And I think as teenagers, you don't really get that opportunity as often,
Yeah.
especially at the time. I was a very competitive dancer. And so I, took so much of what my mom worked for and learned in the Miss Texas organization and applied that to dance. But it was my friend that was the first time that I was like, oh, I could do this and I actually
Oh,
really care about this. So then, of course, my mom was a pivotal part of my journey. She's always been my biggest cheerleader. And I think I kind of kept it as a secret weapon for a little while because when I competed as a teen, I didn't tell anybody who my mom was. We were very careful because I didn't want anybody to credit my success to her. Even
absolutely.
though, of course, I would take all the wisdom that I could from her, but we had different last names. So when I competed as a teen, nobody knew. And then when I came back as a miss, I don't remember how or who said what or how, people kind of learned. Obviously, I'm so proud of her and it's been fun to kind of have that in the light because I really do get to talk about this as a multi-generational organization that has made a multi-generational impact and I think that that's a really powerful thing.
Absolutely. And so do you remember how old you were when you decided, okay, this is for
Yes.
me. I'm gonna do this.
I I was 15 and then I competed in my first pageant my last week of being 15 and won my first pageant right after turning 16. So it was right around that kind of mark.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Um, I want to take you back to that night that you were crowned
Yes.
Miss Texas America. What do you remember when you're
Oh my
standing
goodness.
there, with the first
Yeah.
runner up? Neither one of you know.
Yep.
What's going through your head that
Oh
night?
my goodness. It's so funny because it comes and goes in spurts of what I remember just because the whole moment was so big and overwhelming that parts of it I just are gone, it all was a blur. But for the most part, I remember standing, and actually, my first runner up is a girl named Stephanie Went. We're dear friends. We've always kind of been in the same circles, but this was our first year actually competing against
Oh
each
my
other. So I knew
goodness.
her pretty well. And it's funny because the parts that I remember are standing with her, and she said something to me about, "Oh, our directors are freaking out right now because we have both competed in the same organizations." So, as I said, we know and love the same people.
Oh my.
And then I remember saying something along the lines of, "Oh my gosh, they're taking so long to announce this." But I remember trying not to like show it in my mouth. So I was sitting there, "Oh my goodness," it was just this funny, sweet moment.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the moment of my name being called. And I feel like I do because I've watched the video so many times, kind of proving to myself, no, Sadie, this happened. But it was just such a blur. And I remember standing with her. And then the next thing I remember is when I ran back to give a hug to all the girls. And the force of all the girls coming to hug me knocked me over. I was not on my feet. Somebody was holding me up. My crown shot backwards because it was not pinned down enough. And one of the girls in my top 5 actually stood behind me and held my crown up on my head. And so that the whole moment was a blur, but I think what's sweet is the moments I do remember
Yeah.
were the connecting points with the other girls, and that is something that I just am thrilled to start my year off with.
Absolutely. I mean that's a huge blessing.
Yeah,
When you have that
absolutely.
opportunity to that's your winning moment. And those
Mhm.
sweet things that you remember, that's amazing. I love that for you. Okay, so the Miss America system, of course, which most people, if they've grown up watching Miss America, or in it's been part of your life. It always was part of mine watching it.
Sure.
They have a talent competition.
Yes.
What is your talent, and how long have you been training and performing it?
Yeah, so I am a dancer. I actually ended up being more of a focus in musical theater. I went to performing arts high school, but my story with dance is so intertwined with my health journey, which is what I advocate for, is health and wellness.
Oh,
And so I decided that as an adult, I had danced since I was 2 years old, trained every day for years, and then in going to college, was not dancing as much. And the Miss America opportunity and Miss Texas organization has given me a chance to kind of reclaim this thing that I loved, learn how to do it in a super healthy and life-giving way, and in an adult body, which is a whole new, challenge of
whole
things.
new challenge.
Yeah, I'm not 16 anymore. Wow. But yes, so I'm a dancer. I dance to a song called That's Life, originally Frank Sinatra, but you're going to
Yes.
have to see what version we choose for Miss America.
I love it. I'm excited. How long have you is dance always something that you wanted to do being a little girl? Were you always
Yes,
thought that
that
was
was
really a
always
love of yours?
Yes, that was always kind of my focus. So much so that I ended up going to performing arts high school, as I said. But the story there is that I did not get into that performing arts high school the first time I auditioned. And I created a whole PowerPoint presentation. Mind you, I was like 12. I don't know what got in me at this point, but I made a whole presentation and sat my parents down and said, let me homeschool myself for a year, and I'm going to re-audition. And if I don't get in, I'll go to like a real school, but let me homeschool myself. Which is, I think it's so funny because I am a nanny, or I was a nanny. Now I'm in Texas, but I was a nanny. I've worked so much with kids. And so the image of just 12-year-old child sitting me like, let me school myself is insane. But I think that's a really big testament to my personality.
Yeah, and to your parents to say,
yeah, the
"We
fact that they
believe in
trusted
you."
me. Yep. And they trusted me with it. And I think that's something I'm really passionate about, is giving children opportunities to not struggle necessarily, but have to work through those challenges and really own up to things. And so I'm really grateful that my parents gave me that opportunity to kind of navigate that.
Absolutely. That is wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Guys, if you are just tuning in, we are watching the amazing, the gorgeous, and incredible newly crowned Miss Texas America 2025. It's Sadie Schiermeyer. We're going to be back with more of this amazing young lady right after this.
Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events wants you to come party with us. We're bringing the fun to the Houston Bay Area. Stay tuned for all of our incredible events throughout the year, featuring amazing food and drinks, live entertainment, special guests, and so much more. Fun, new, different. Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events is where you want to be. So come party with us. It's more than a yacht. It's serendipity.
All right, we're back. Yay. We are with the amazing newly crowned Miss Texas America, Sadie Schiermeyer. We've been talking about kind of how she got to this point, and about her special night. Okay, so Sadie, this is huge. First of all, how old are you?
I'm 22.
Okay, great age. I feel like those 20s are where you're really finding yourself and kind of understanding how much of a go-getter you are. I think that just, and it shows that you've been a go-getter since you were 12. I love that for you.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
How do you think? Okay, so when did you get crowned?
June 28th, I believe. So just over a month ago.
Wow. How do you think so far this has changed your life?
Oh my goodness. In so many ways, first of all, I think, like we said, the connecting pieces are so important to me, but I think I'm experiencing that on the biggest scale I ever have before. Beforehand, I like to think that I'm a pretty warm, outgoing person. I love meeting people, but I think now it has created this just continuously open door for people to say hi and giving an opportunity to meet people from across the state and across the country. I've done interviews from people with people from Britain, which is insane. So that piece is already just a change from how I've been living. But I think with that, just a day-to-day practical thing that's changed is my life with school has always been so routine. It was the Monday through Friday kind of school week. I had events on certain days that I could always count on and rely on. And this is the first time in my life where I wake up every single day and it's a new schedule.
Yeah.
And so it's something that I am learning to really, really enjoy, just because it's a constant adventure, but it is something that is a skill that I've kind of had to learn that I didn't really expect.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and if people do not understand the pageant world, when you're a pageant girl, it is very busy, and you learn very quickly, especially if you win, to be extremely organized and be ready and willing to do so many things and have a 15-hour day and still look great. So
Right.
but that's the expectations.
Learning how to put makeup on at 7 a.m. that'll last you till midnight is a important skill for
That's
sure.
right. That's right. I love it. I love that. Okay, so Sadie, what do you think is okay? First of all, I just need to. Can you hear my dog?
I can, but I didn't really focus on it until you said anything.
Okay,
It just
hold on.
kind of existed in the background, so you're good.
Okay. So, and this is going to be edited for the network anyways.
All good.
Okay, so I want to ask you, what do you think the hardest part about getting ready to compete for Miss Texas has been for you?
I think you said it well when you're in your 20s, you're still definitely figuring out who you are. Especially in my season, I graduated from college in December. And so figuring out what do I want adulthood to look like is already just a pressing question in your 20s. But then add in any sort of spotlight, right? Whether that's pageantry, whether that is social media, whether you are in a role at work where you have a lot of people looking towards you. I think that it's really important to kind of wrestle with that question of who are you? But I think more than that, what do you believe and what do you want your life to look like reflecting that? It's a big and heavy question to kind of ask a 20-year-old, but I think that was simultaneously the hardest and most important part of my preparation, because if you don't know who you are and what you represent, that's going to be awfully hard for you to step into such a big role like Miss Texas.
I completely agree with you. And I think that answer is phenomenal because I think that so many pageant girls make a huge mistake by, first of all, feeling like they have to emulate somebody else. They have to almost become somebody else, not themselves, that God made them. God made everybody amazing and incredible with your own talents. And so I think that being genuine, realizing who you are and what you stand for and what you believe in and what makes your heart happy is so important. And when you don't do that, that's what comes across, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, and I think what's so cool is just getting to even reflect on my own story and how I've competed in pageants now over the years. Last year as Miss Plano was my first year coming in as a Miss in the Miss division.
Wow.
And I remember wrestling with, I had done well as a teen. Everybody knew me as a teen. This is my first year back. I need to make sure that I am a Miss, that people can see me as an adult, as a Miss. And while I think that there was probably some credit in that of, I don't want to act like my teenage self by any means, I think that there was also this level of me being somebody that I wasn't, right? Last year, the girl who won, her name is Annette Adeobo. She was a phenomenal Miss Texas. And I remember her winning and thinking, I've been trying to be this girl boss, older, I insert whatever word there. But then I look at Annette's personality and mine, and we were so different. And it's a beautiful thing that we've had different Miss Texases. But I remember her winning and being like, as much as I try to be that way, I can't. That's not who I am at all. And so I think one of my strengths this year is I really came in with the mindset of, I'm just going to be myself. And if the judges want that, that's awesome. If they're wanting a different personality, I don't want to win pretending to be somebody else. Yeah. So it definitely freed me up.
Absolutely. I love to hear that, that you say that, because that is so true. So true, honey. Okay, so do you think you have started thinking about anything different or doing anything different that you're finding yourself being really aware of since you've been crowned? And I know it's only been a month, but as soon as that crown goes on your head and you realize I'm a state title holder, there is a different,
Yeah.
that's a big deal.
Absolutely. I have two answers to this. One is superficial and one's a little more serious. And the superficial one is I've never been in a role that requires so much social media. And so what's funny and what I try to be really careful with, because I want to be as present as possible at all times. But it is funny because I'll have certain events or meetings or whatever, and I'm also thinking about, what would be a good picture here? What is a good angle? How do I, represent this? So that is kind of a funny surface level. Like I've never had to worry about good lighting that much before. So that part's new. It's definitely new. But then on a more serious note, I think that while it's easy to say, you're Miss Texas, you represent the state, there is a very real and serious note to that. There is a level of truth, and you are now a representative. And I think the first time that I recognized the severity of that was with all of the flooding in Central Texas, because all of a sudden, all of my Miss America sisters, the girls that I will be competing with from across the nation, were looking to me for what was happening. How do we respond? How do we help? What do we say? What's going on? And, from somebody who may not live in Texas, Texas is a really big state. I actually do not live near where the flooding occurred at all, mind you. I don't think a single community was left unaffected. So I felt the impact of it, but it was also kind of interesting trying to navigate, okay, I am a state representative. That is a big deal. And while, maybe I'm not the biggest voice when it comes to advocacy or policy change in response to everything that was happening, I am a guidepost for teaching people how to respond. So that was kind of the biggest shift of, okay, there are people from across the nation looking, and I have an opportunity to speak light into this situation.
Absolutely. That huge deal. And I think that was an aha moment. Oh my gosh, I'm in this position. This is real. And I'm being looked at in a completely different way for guidance. And I agree with you. That's amazing. Okay, guys, we are going to find out more about the amazing Sadie Schiermeyer right after this commercial break. Don't go away.
Picture your ideal getaway. A place for fun and relaxation. That's South Shore Harbor Resort and Conference Center. Stylishly renovated in a modern aesthetic with room to accommodate any event or occasion. Whether you're traveling for business or just looking to take a break, get away to the Bay. South Shore Harbor Resort and Conference Center. Book today at sSHR.com.
All right, we're back. We are talking with the amazing Sadie Schiermeyer. She was just crowned a month ago as Miss Texas America, guys. She is getting ready to compete for Miss America.
Yes.
That's huge. So can you, when you hear that, can you believe it?
Yes and no. Like, I think I've heard it enough times. I'm like, yes, we're going to Miss America. But I think on a very practical level, what's so funny about it was I spent 15 years of my life dreaming about Miss Texas.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I have 2 months to dream about Miss America. And so that's it's been a funny turnaround and recognizing, with Texas, I had competed so many times that I kind of knew what to expect.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what to expect walking into Miss America. None of us have competed against each other. I don't know about the other girls, but I've never been to this venue where we're competing. And so I can't even fully picture it, but it's fun. Like, I'm so excited, but it is kind of funny to be like, oh, we're going to Miss America. Let's do it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. What do you think the hardest part about realizing that your life is now going to be very different really for the rest of your life? Was there a,
Yeah.
and maybe hard part is the wrong word, but it's all of a sudden you wake up, you've been crowned, and now your life is going in a completely different direction.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. Big question, but it's a great one. I honestly feel so blessed.
Yeah.
I think if I had a super planned out life beyond Miss Texas, had I not won, maybe this would have been harder. But the reality was, I graduated from Belmont University in December. I've been nannying full time, which has been
Congratulations.
such a blessing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I've been nannying full time. I had the absolute best time with this family. They feel like family to me, but knowing that that wasn't my forever dream, I wasn't really sure what that meant going forward. I really wanted to go to grad school to Dallas Baptist University for their master's in professional counseling, but I had no way to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so post Miss Texas week, there were a lot of question marks in really every direction. And so I think that I'm actually lucky because since winning, it created a very clear path for me. So yes, there was a drastic life change, but I was teed up for a drastic life change either way. And so now I'm so grateful because Miss Texas opportunity has given me a path for grad school to be, if not fully funded, almost fully funded, and it's given me a certain community in Texas that I was still working so hard to build since I just moved back from Tennessee. And so it really, you're right that it is a drastic life change. And I just can't even picture all of the ways that I am impacted now for the rest of my life. But it has been so much of a blessing.
It's incredible. And I love that, of course, if a lot of people don't know, the America system is a scholarship system, which
Yes.
you'll get
Yes.
help with your schooling. So that's a very big deal. That's just absolutely
Big deal.
Okay, so
Yes.
if a lot of people who will see this are familiar with pageants, but a lot do not realize that pageants have platforms. Pageant girls, pageant contestants have platforms, which is a charity or something that you work on or you give back, and it's something that your heart is close to. What has been your platform?
So at the state level, it was called Healthier Texas, How Are You Really? And I advocate for health education and advocacy, making sure that we are having open and honest conversations about health and wellness. That was something that I really struggled with as a teenager. I actually faced and overcame an eating disorder, but looking back at my story, I really didn't have comprehensive health education that prevented that from happening. And so now as a role model, that's something that I seek to do is making sure that we have the right resources available. I'm partnered with the Healthier Texas organization that have phenomenal resources online. If you Google Healthier Texas, they have free health coaching, they have fitness and nutrition classes, they have a really cool app called the Community Challenge where you can find people nearby that are on the same journey as you are.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of what I did preparing for Miss Texas that I get to now walk out as Miss Texas. But of course, looking to expand that to Healthier America at the national level. I'm partnering with the American Heart Association to make sure that more of that health education is accessible. And there's a few more things tucked up my sleeve that are still, you're going to have to stay tuned to figure out how that unfolds.
We will, absolutely. Why do you think, this is a really important topic, of course.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
why are you excited that this is your platform, and why is it so important for you to absolutely take this to the national level?
Well, just looking at our state as it is, we are ranked second to last in women's health. We are ranked
Wow.
second to last in mental health, and we are consistently ranked in the bottom 10 states when it comes to overall health and wellness. This
Horrible.
is a problem that, in my story, it was a struggle with an eating disorder, but in reality, you look outward and it's something that impacts every single Texan, every single American. And so I'm super excited because there are resources that are out there to help people, whether that is, very tangible health education, connecting with a doctor, Or if it is that more intangible, just creating a space where people feel safe enough to ask for help when they need it. It is something that I've been able to impact many students, many peers, but I'm so excited to create a bigger scale of impact across the state and nation.
I love that. I think this is, and one thing that I do love about most pageant system is that they have this outlet for you young ladies to talk about things you've dealt with, why something is so close
Right.
to your heart, and if you've dealt with it personally. So many people look at pageant winners and go, she's perfect, they've never had an issue,
Right.
they've never worried about anything, and it's usually the opposite.
Right.
And that's
Yeah.
why you have such a passion of sharing your story with so many people so you can help others. I love this. I think you're a really big light for so many,
Thank
honey.
you.
And I'm really excited for you to share this on a national level. What do you
Thank you.
think? People are chiming in saying good morning. We're excited
Good morning, y'all.
to have y'all watching today. What do you think competing in pageants has really taught you about yourself?
Oh, so much. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the two answers again, the kind of superficial and the kind of more meaningful one. Superficially, there are just a lot of skills that I learned in pageantry that I'm sure you could learn in other places, but I've never found another place that you can learn them all together. So with so many different phases, right? You're having to learn public speaking is probably the biggest skill that I've
Sheesh.
learned that you don't have a lot of experience doing unless you're in the workforce, right? So public speaking and communicating is a really big one. Learning how to respond appropriately, even to deadlines. There were so many levels of paperwork and events and things. So I actually earned a award aside from Miss Texas called the Best of Texas Award that we do through the organization. And there is a series of fundraisers, amount of places and times that you need to speak on certain topics. You have to create a school program so that you can educate
Wow.
children about your community service initiative. So there is a whole host of just engagement points that you kind of have to do in preparation. And that is honestly a large reason why I credit earning the GPA that I did. I graduated with a 4.0, and I don't think I could have done that without the skills that I earned in pageantry. So that's kind of and also you learn to walk in heels.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I got a text during graduation from my friend saying you were the only one that knew how to walk on that stage, which is, I'm sure that was an exaggeration, but it was very sweet and funny. So yeah, there were those practical kind of surface level skills, but I think on a more serious note, you have to, again, wrestle with the who am I? What do I believe? And then in pageantry, you have the opportunity to turn that into how do I showcase that, right? Whether it's through your wardrobe and your style, whether it's through strategic phrases that you try to slip into onstage question or your interview, right? You get to really learn how do I represent something. And I think that that is a very helpful thing, whether you're entering the workforce or just existing as a human being on this world.
I agree. And I think that waking up every day knowing that you're inspiring a whole new group of people who are going to be watching you and following you is a big deal. And it keeps you on your toes and
Yes.
knowing how to, I think that I agree with you. I think pageants teach you you think on your feet.
You got to be fast. Yeah.
It's really awesome. Well, that's amazing. That's amazing. Okay. So do I wanted to ask you if you had struggled with anything in your life that you feel has made you a better Miss Texas. Was your eating was struggling with that one of those things?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really care about as a role model and as a leader is making sure that the people I am leading recognize that I am not perfect.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting line to walk because I am a role model and there are things that I want to be able to lead people in.
Yeah.
But the quote of, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. If they cannot understand my connection to this issue, if they cannot understand my connection to them as people that I'm trying to lead, then who cares that I got a psychology degree? Who cares about my experience in the healthcare field and with these organizations, right? There has to be that connecting warmth that occurs. And so I think the fact that I actually struggled, right? This wasn't just a problem that I noticed and now speak on. It is a problem that I endured and overcame, gives me an opportunity to be a symbol of hope.
Yeah, I agree with you. Very well stated. Sadie, I want to ask you this. This could be a top 5 question. What is one thing about you that very few people know that you can share with us on the show?
Ooh. I have a funny one. I like to say that I owe my life to Bonnie and Clyde. I was a big musical theater nerd, and I was actually obsessed with the Bonnie and Clyde musical. And one day I was sitting singing that around the house, and my grandmother surprised me and told me that my great-grandfather, he was a sheriff, and he was one of the only men that Bonnie and Clyde kidnapped and robbed, but did not kill. And Clyde Barrow of Bonnie and Clyde said that the reason why was that, you know, he liked my grandfather so much, and my grandfather helped heal Bonnie's head injury. He liked my grandfather so much that if he were not a sheriff, he thought they'd be friends.
Oh my goodness, that's
a fun
very
fact for
cool.
you.
Oh yeah, that is
So I
awesome.
love Bonnie and Clyde.
I'll never look at Bonnie and Clyde the same.
It really humanizes them. Like, I've gotten to read all the FBI reports and everything. Like, it's insane, but I love them. And that's just a funny and fun fact for you.
That's right. That was very good. I'm very impressed. Okay, so, Sadie, of course, you know this because as Miss Texas America, you are a trendsetter. And in looking at your photos, you kind of always have been. You've got really great taste.
Thank you.
What 3 pieces of clothing make your life easier every day?
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind is a great pair of sneakers, making sure that it's something that balances, sporty athletic, but also cute in style. So I'm not thinking gym shoes, although I love those. I'm thinking like a good flat pair of sneakers that I could wear with a dress or with a pair of jeans.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to follow that with a big but stylish purse. If you can find a purse that matches any outfit that fits so many things inside of it, I always call it my Mary Poppins purse, but that has given me the flexibility of, whether I'm going from an event, playing with kids in the sand, I don't like something more involved and engaged, throw a pair of heels in that purse and now you're ready to go to the next thing. And then last thing, not everybody's going to have it, but I do got to say that a good sparkly crown really tops off the wardrobe. So that's my accessory of choice. But I think it goes with everything. But in a more serious note, I think playing with accessories is a really great way to kind of expand your wardrobe without having to spend money on bigger pieces.
Yeah. I love great answers everybody can use.
Thank you.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so your schedule gets nuts as soon as you're crowned a state winner. When
Absolutely.
I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. When you get crowned Miss America, it gets even crazier. But looking fresh and amazing is just part of your life. If it hasn't been already, which I'm sure it has been, it is now. What are your 3 top beauty tips that you can share with all of us that you do?
Okay. The first one is going to sound weird. Hygiene is a big one. That's maybe a jump from 0 to 100 real fast, but I think making sure that you keep up with, like, I like to get my eyebrows threaded, things like that. And of course, always brushing your teeth, always keeping your skin clean, that kind of stuff is really that first step because it is the base of everything that you are working with, whether that is simply showing up as yourself or if you want to navigate like makeup and things like that. That is honestly the most helpful part. If my eyebrows are done, then I'm halfway there. But so hygiene is a big one. Yeah. The next one, I would have to say, I love a good concealer moment. Whether you are somebody that wants to cover up acne or under eye bags, that's something that I always kind of navigate because you're right. The schedule is a little insane. I will happily trade sleep to be Miss Texas. But that is a really quick way to kind of refresh the look. And then the last thing is probably, there is a setting spray called One Size. This is not sponsored, but also if they see this, please sponsor me. But that is kind of
Yes.
That is my holy grail. Like I said, it's kind of a skill to learn how to put on makeup at 7 a.m. That's going to last you till midnight.
Yes.
And that has been very helpful. So whether you are doing a minimal makeup look or a Miss Texas makeup look, that is something that makes sure that your look stays.
I love it. I love that. All right. Those are great. That is great advice. And Woosa Branding Company said you need a Woosa shirt. Yes. Send her one.
I would love one.
That's right. And Jenny, thank you for representing the great state of Texas.
Aw,
Absolutely. We've
that's
got a good
kind.
one.
Thank
Y'all.
you.
We got a good one. I'm so excited. Okay. Do you think there's one accessory besides your crown that you do not live without? That's a
Okay,
good
I have this ring on. This is probably more specific to me, but my dad gifted this ring to me on my 21st birthday. And so it's just a really sweet thing. I feel like between my crown and my ring, you know, my crown is something that connects me to my mom, and my ring is something that connects me to my dad. And so both ways, I kind of get to carry the people that support me. I get to carry them along with me on this journey.
That's a good answer. You know, I think
Thank
that
you.
if people would wear something that means something to them every day, that's a really sweet thing to do, you know? All right. Okay. So now when do you head to Miss America? Because it's coming up.
It is coming up. And so something that a lot of people might not know is that leading up to Miss America, there is a series of preliminary competitions. So I actually head out on August 30th, I believe, and I will be there the whole week leading up. And then the final competition is September 7th. So that's when y'all will get a chance to watch.
That's right. We're going to be watching you. What do you
Please, yes.
do you have plans to take anything sentimental or personal with you
Oof.
that, you know, that you may not take on normal trips, or you're going to take it to Miss America?
That's hard. I mean, I think that I definitely have little pieces of wardrobe or superstitious things, whether it's a pair of shoes or a pair of earrings that, you know, in my brain, it's, I wore this at prelims at Miss Texas, and that's the night I won prelims. So I want to wear that pair of earrings again. I don't really have anything super big that comes to mind other than my Bible is something that I always bring with me no matter what. But at Miss Texas, one of the sweet girls that I mentored gave me a praying cross that kind of molds to the shape of your hand. And so that's something that praying is just a really big part of my practice of preparing for the competition.
Yeah.
But alongside that, like I said, bringing the people that have supported me, bringing them with me on the journey. And that's just a sweet reminder of even the little girls and the lives that I've impacted that way and who I represent. So I'll be bringing that with me for sure.
I love that. I love that. Okay. So, you know, of course it's going to be crazy once you get there. And then, if, you know, your schedule's nuts. But what do you think one of the main things you are really looking forward to of competing for Miss America?
I'm just excited to meet all of the girls.
Yeah.
I grew up, you know, again, mom is Miss Texas, but I grew up, they did Miss America reunions at my house of all of her sister state title holders. And so, you know, I always get told in the pageant world, you know, this is how you're going to find your bridesmaids. These are your friends for life. And we'll see if that's true or not. I'm really hoping that it is. And I'm really thrilled to meet all of these girls.
Oh yeah. I love that. I love that. And, you know, when do y'all find out your roommates when you get there for registration?
I'm not sure. We actually have our orientation on Zoom tonight. So I'm hoping I'll find out tonight, but we will see.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yes.
Sadie, what do you think you would, you know, there's a lot of little girls, there's a lot of teenagers, a lot of, you know, 20 somethings who've never done pageants, but
Absolutely.
think that they may want to try. What piece of advice would you give somebody who is thinking that they may want to do a pageant?
Well, my first inclination is just say go for it. I think that there is a lot of misconceptions about, you know, the only way that you can win is by winning the crown. But as I said earlier, there are so many different things that you can benefit from this organization. So whether you're just looking for friends, if you're just looking for an opportunity to show off a killer prom dress that you only got to wear once, if you are looking for an opportunity to practice interviewing and public speaking, I think that don't be afraid of not being perfect, because that is actually how they see who you are as a human being. I tripped on stage when I won Miss Texas like 4 times, honestly. It was a lot of trips. And the judges afterwards said that they loved it because I just kept going and they saw me as a human being.
Yeah.
So I think I just blurted out a lot of just random tidbits, but I think be yourself, go for it. Don't be afraid and don't freak out if you don't win the first time. I didn't win the first time either. It took a lot of work.
Yeah.
But you are welcome and wanted, and we hope to see you at a pageant soon.
I love that advice. Absolutely. I think that and people tend to, everybody's focused on winning the crown, but I think that just what you said, when you look at it as an experience of growing and having fun and challenging yourself, that's where the blessing is.
Absolutely.
Because only one person wins. That's okay. But I think everybody wins. Once you get to that point, you do it, everybody wins in some way. I agree.
For sure.
I agree. Okay. So we're going to do a couple of top 5, and this is your icebreaker question. Okay. This is a couple of icebreaker questions. If you could have...
I'm ready.
You're ready. Here she goes, guys. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
I would like to feel people's emotions. Kind of like, I don't know if you're a Twilight fan. I am. But Jasper in Twilight, he can like read people's emotions and influence them. I don't really want to influence people's emotions like that. But how helpful would it be upon meeting somebody to just kind of know where you're going in? And then that way I can bless them however I need to, depending on how they feel.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. That's never been said on the show before. So that's a new one.
Really? Oh, yeah. Wow. Thanks.
Really good. Really good. Okay. If we looked in your refrigerator right now, or in your host refrigerator, what would we find?
Cottage cheese. That's my funny answer. I will confess, we have an amazing sponsor who is a dentist named Dr. Couch, and she just whitened my teeth. She's a blessing to me. However, I can only eat white foods right now, white or clear foods. I am a big fan of cottage cheese. My nanny kids made fun of me for it for months because they called it the lumpy cheese, but it is one of my favorite foods. So it's one of my favorite foods. It's not going to stain my teeth. Praise God.
Yeah, I'm not a cottage cheese fan, but
you don't
have to worry about teeth whitenings when you eat cottage cheese.
Yep, exactly. And it has so much protein and healthy fats and all the things. So I recommend.
There you go. She recommends it, guys. If Miss Texas is eating it, it must be good for you. Okay, Sadie, so how do we follow your journey to Miss America?
Yes, well, social media is probably the easiest, most straightforward way, not only to see the journey, but to see behind the scenes. So on Instagram, you can follow me. It's Miss America TX for Texas, or you can follow my personal page, which is Sadie Catherine S. And then on TikTok, Sadie Catherine S is the handle also. So I'm pretty easy to find.
Good. Okay, one quick question. Do you find yourself doing anything different competing for the national stage than you did for the state pageant?
I mean, the sponsors look different just because I've now been blessed with so many sponsors at the state and national level that are different from when I was representing as a local title. But fortunately, the kind of method is the same. I was really well prepared by my local organization, Kevin Howard, Tammy and Courtney. They were all volunteers at the local level with Miss Texas. And so I'm grateful because I feel like they gave me the right skills and practices. But yeah, those sponsors, I love them. Yeah,
the sponsors are amazing. Okay, so really quickly, have you found your gown?
I have. I can't share too much about it. Speaking of sponsors, I got my gown through Terry Costa here in Dallas. And I'm trying to be careful because I know there's only so much I can say about it, but I will end with Terry Costa is phenomenal. And I'm so grateful for Sergio and the team that really helped make sure that my dreams came true with this gown.
So cannot wait to see it. I know it's going to be stunning. How exciting to know you have that.
Oh my goodness. It's so sweet too, because obviously when I got the gown, I'm thrilled about it. And then I keep having little moments of, my mom's Miss America gown is still in her closet. And so knowing that one day, Lord willing, if I have children, I get to show them that, or I get to kind of memorialize this really important moment through a piece of wardrobe, which is really cool.
Amazing. What has your family thought about all of this happening?
Oh
And
my goodness.
I can't even imagine, really.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a whirlwind for truly everybody involved.
Yeah.
Especially, my mom did so much work to help me prepare for the state competition. And then on the flip side, of course, now we're preparing for Miss America. Everybody and their mother is trying to rally to make sure that we can all be in Orlando for Miss
Yeah.
America. Yeah, I mean, it has been surreal. I don't even know how to explain. It really is truly day by day, one thing at a time. We're learning what this looks like, and it's been really fun.
Yeah. Okay. So your mom, what did she was at, how did she do at Miss America when she was in it?
I know she was in top 10. I wanna say
Yeah.
she placed 7th because back
Yeah.
in the day, they would give every ranking beyond top 5.
She did
I
very
wanna say
well.
she was 7th, but she did
Yeah.
very well. Yes.
Huge deal. Huge deal. Has she given you a specific piece of advice along the way now that you've become Miss Texas?
I mean, I
Preparing
think the piece
for
of
America?
advice that she's given me from the beginning, of course, be yourself. We hear that all the time. But one of my favorite stories that she shared about her experience was that the first year she competed, she did not do too hot. She did not place in the top 10. I don't remember the ranking, but it was below, like it was in the bottom half.
Yeah.
And she said the second year, because of that first year ranking, she was not expecting to do good. And so she truly went in with the mindset of let me just have fun. Let this be a good experience. And she says that that is what freed her up to win. She
Yeah.
thought that that gave her the opportunity to truly show her personality with these judges and just have a great week overall. And so, I mean, I will credit that to, I was in a similar boat this year. Last year, as I said, I think I was trying way too hard to seem old and mature and like a miss. And this year I just came in and said, if the judges can't see that I am very capable, that I am really confident in who I am, that's on them. I'm going to have the most fun. And no matter what happens, I'm going to win this week. And by the grace of God, that meant winning the crown and really falling in love with the judges. I had the best panel ever. But between that story and between my mom's story, I think the most important thing is going into Miss America, knowing that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity that many people don't even get to do this, and so just having the most fun possible.
Really amazing. I love that. I love that. I know she's so excited to
Yes.
see you on that stage, and it's going to bring a lot of memories back to her, I'm sure. How exciting is that? Okay, so when is the Miss America pageant again?
Finals night is on September 7th.
September 7th, and it's in Florida?
Yes, ma'am. It's in Orlando, but you can stream it on YouTube or I believe Pageants Live, but YouTube might be the easiest one to find.
Yee, we're excited. Okay, guys. First of all, congratulations to you, Sadie.
Thank you.
We are so excited that you are our Miss Texas America. You're amazing.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
So excited. We're so excited for you. We're going to be cheering you on all the way. Guys, I'm telling you, I think she's got a great chance to win Miss America, and you should do extremely well and have lots and lots and lots of fun. And what's great about this is that your journey is just beginning with so many amazing things for your life. So we're very excited for you. Is there one thing that you want to just say to everybody about this whole experience and what what you're feeling?
Yeah, I would say that, wherever you are, whether that's Miss Texas, whether that's in a corporate job, whether that's being a teacher or a student or anything in between, you are there on purpose and for a purpose. That right now I have a big spotlight to make an impact, but you don't need a spotlight to make an impact. That the crown is my blessing for this year, but that doesn't mean that you can't also have power in your day-to-day life. And so I would just empower y'all to look for where you want to see changes in the world and really make an effort to make it happen.
There it is. She's amazing. She's Miss Texas America, and we're going to see her compete at Miss America, guys, in just 2 months in Florida. Cannot be prouder for you. We're so excited. Thank you so much for taking time out today. I know your schedule's crazy, and everybody's just telling you good luck, and they love you, and Texas is proud of you.
So kind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, honey. Have a great day. Guys, stay tuned for this interview. We'll be airing on the Your Home TV network coming soon. But we hope you have an awesome and blessed rest of your day. And congratulations, Sadie. Good luck. We love you and we are cheering you on, honey.
Thank you so much. It was so fun being here.
So good. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.